Has the US abandoned its missing sailor at sea amid growing fears of Iran's possible revenge in the region? How many more lives must be lost before the US Navy confronts what critics call a shocking failure in judgment? Did American arrogance and operational neglect ultimately doom the crew of the downed MH-60 helicopter? After 102 hours of search and one crew member still missing, has Iran identified the US military's most vulnerable weak link? As alleged plots linked to Mujtaba raise alarm bells, are Trump and his inner circle growing increasingly worried about Iran's new strategy? The US Navy has officially suspended search and rescue operations for an American sailor who remains missing at sea. The US sailor was declared missing after an MH-60S helicopter crashed into the Arabian Sea on July 3. The search was called off after 102 hours of operations covering more than 14,000 square miles of ocean. The massive rescue mission was led by US Central Command with support from the US Navy and US Air Force. The search involved major American warships, including USS Abraham Lincoln, along with P-8 Poseidon aircraft squadrons. Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers were also deployed as part of the intensive search effort. US Central Command said, and I quote, "The US Navy suspended the active search for a sailor assigned to Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron, HSC. 5 embarked aboard aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush, CVN-77, effective 3 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time on July 5, 2026. The sailor was reported missing July 1st, after an MH-60S helicopter went down in the Arabian Sea. The efforts concluded following an extensive search by the US Navy and US Air Force in the US Central Command area of responsibility. The sailor's name is being withheld until at least 24 hours after next of kin notification is complete in accordance with Navy policy. For more than 102 hours, an extensive and coordinated search and rescue effort spanning over 14,000 square miles was conducted. The efforts brought together the USS George H.W. Bush carriers HSC-5 and Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron, HSM-46, the fixed-wing aircraft of carrier Air Wings, CVW, 7 and 9, aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincolns, CVN-72, helicopter squadrons HSC-14 and HSM-71, Arleigh Burke-class. Guided missile destroyers USS Ross, DDG-71, USS Donald Cook, DDG-75, USS Higgins, DDG-76, USS Mason, DDG-87, and USS John Finn, DDG-113, with HSM-51, 2 P-8 Poseidon squadrons, and multiple U.S. Air Force aircraft." End quote. The missing sailor was assigned to Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 6 under the U.S. Fifth Fleet, officials revealed. 4 other U.S. crew members were successfully rescued, while 1 sailor continues to remain unaccounted for. The massive search also deployed American warships, including USS Abraham Lincoln and P-8 Poseidon squadrons. U.S. officials ruled out any sabotage, maintaining there was no hostile action involved, according to reports. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump and members of his team are reportedly the subject of an alleged Iranian assassination plot. New intelligence claims have alleged that Iran's Quds Force has formed a special operations unit known as Mukhtar for covert missions. The Quds Force, the foreign operations arm of Iran's powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been placed at the center of the report. The report further alleged that the Mukhtar unit is plotting assassination attacks against senior US officials. US President Donald Trump is reportedly among the high-profile figures identified as an alleged target. The report also claimed the unit operates with the support of Mexican cartels as well as members of the Iranian diaspora. Its alleged modus operandi involves deploying members of the Iranian diaspora inside the United States to carry out operations. These serious allegations were first reported by Israel's Channel 14 news network in an exclusive report. The report has not been independently verified by Hindustan Times at this stage. No official confirmation of these claims has been issued by the United States, Iran, or Israel. These allegations therefore remain unverified and should be treated as claims pending official confirmation. On July 4, Iran's Foreign Intelligence Ministry also vowed to avenge the killing of the late supreme leader. Iran's intelligence ministry has vowed to avenge Ali Khamenei's killing amid the funeral ceremonies, turning grief into a powerful call for retaliation. Tehran blamed the US and Israel for Khamenei's assassination, according to Iran International, and said only revenge can heal the wounds of the Iranian people. The ministry pledged retaliation against those it holds responsible for Khamenei's death, raising the tone from accusation to open threat. The statement also reaffirmed loyalty to Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei, signaling that Iran's leadership wants to project unity and continuity. Iran vowed revenge for the blood of Khamenei and other victims of the strikes, framing the conflict in deeply emotional and uncompromising terms. Tehran referred to the clashes as Iran's second and third imposed wars, accusing Israel and the US of waging war against the Islamic Republic. The ministry said its pursuit of revenge would continue under Mojtaba Khamenei, suggesting a long-term response rather than a one-off warning. The statement was released by Iran's state media on Saturday, July 4, 2026. Iran will begin 6 days of state funeral ceremonies for Ali Khamenei on July 4, launching a tightly planned period of mourning that will dominate the nation's calendar. The late supreme leader will be laid to rest on July 9, after a series of nationwide ceremonies that move his coffin through some of Shiite Islam's holiest cities. Officials expect millions of people to line the streets for processions across Iran during the state farewell, turning each city into a sea of black banners and flags. Tehran's mayor has suggested the capital alone could see up to 20 million mourners pass through over several days, a logistical and security operation on an epic scale. Authorities say parallel mourning events in Qom, Mashhad, Najaf and Karbala are also expected to draw huge crowds, extending the farewell beyond Iran's borders. Iranian officials insist the ceremonies will demonstrate national unity after months of war and crisis, projecting an image of cohesion around the new leadership. The mourning events will move from Tehran to the seminary city of Qom before the final burial in Mashhad, following a symbolic route through Iran's religious heartland. The state funeral is widely seen as Mojtaba Khamenei's first major test as supreme leader, setting the tone for how he will handle both symbolism and security. Mojtaba has not yet appeared publicly since assuming the country's top leadership position, leaving many Iranians wondering how visible he will choose to be. Observers will watch closely to see whether Mojtaba leads the main funeral prayer in Tehran, a moment that could cement his authority in front of millions and the cameras.